So I just got off a call with someone. Let me call him Mike. And I'm actually a little fired up about what I discovered. You see, Mike is 57 years old, works in biotech. And when I asked him about his retirement savings, do you know what he told me? Well, Jeremiah, I've got about 600,000 spread across, let me think, 3 or 4 different 401ks from different companies. 3 or 4? He wasn't even sure how many. And here's the kicker. When we dug into it, it was actually 4 different accounts. J&J had the big one at 615,000, and then 3 more scattered around from companies that got bought out, merged, or laid him off. You know what that means? He's probably paying 4 different sets of fees, 4 different investment strategies that aren't talking to each other, 4 different statements to track, 0 coordination for his retirement that's maybe 5 years away. Now, this is educational content. It's not personalized advice, but let me show you the math that made Mike's jaw drop. In each of those 401ks is charging just 1% in fees, and that's conservative. He spent about $8,000 a year just to have his money set in 4 different places over 5 years. That's $40,000 gone just in fees. But here's where it gets worse. When you've got money scattered like that, you can't properly manage your risk. One account might be 90% stocks, while the other is 50% bonds. You think you're diversified, but you're really just confused. I see this all the time. Engineers, biotech professionals, corporate execs, smart people who've changed jobs every few years and just left their 401ks behind like breadcrumbs. And listen, I get it. When you're working, when you're in accumulation mode, when that paycheck is coming in every 2 weeks without fail, you don't think about it. The market goes up, market goes down, but you're still contributing, right? Your dollar cost averaging without even trying. But what happens when you retire? What happens when you need to start pulling money out and the market drops 20% like it did in April? Which account do you pull from? The one that's down 15% or the one that's down 25%? Do you even know? This is why we use our safe bucket blueprint. We don't just consolidate for the sake of consolidation. We consolidate with purpose. Here's what I told Mike, and this is what you need to understand if you're in a similar situation. First, we've got to get all that money working together, not against each other. We're talking about dividing assets by purpose, not by previous employer. You see, the safe bucket, that's for your essential expenses. The money that has to come in no matter what the market does, because the market doesn't care about your mortgage payment. You know what I mean? Now, your freedom bucket, that's for enjoying retirement, traveling, spoiling grandbabies, the Harley you've been eyeing. This needs to be liquid, but it also still needs to be growing. Now, your growth bucket, this is for when we get to let it rip. Long-term money that can ride out the storms because you don't need it for 10 to 15 years. When Mike saw this laid out, when he understood that we could take his scattered $600,000 and turn it into a coordinated retirement income strategy, he said something I'll never forget. Jeremiah, I've been so focused on accumulating that I forgot I actually need to spend this money someday. Exactly. You know what else we've discovered? Mike's been laid off twice in 2 years. The biotech industry is brutal right now. Companies get bought, merged, dissolved, and every time he just left his 401k behind and started a new one. But here's the opportunity hidden in that chaos. If you've been with any company for more than 2 years, you might qualify for a special roll-up provision. If you're over 55 and separated from service, you might be able to access these funds without penalty. These are strategies your current 401k provider won't tell you about because they want to keep managing your money. Let me be very clear about something. This is not about putting all your eggs in one basket. It's about putting all your baskets in one plan. We ran the numbers for Mike. By consolidating and implementing the Safe Bucket Blueprint, we projected he could save approximately $47,000 in fees over the next 10 years. That's not growth. That's not market returns. That's just money he gets to keep instead of giving it to 4 different plan administrators. But more importantly, we gave him clarity. He went from, I think I have enough, to I know exactly where my retirement income is coming from. Now, I want to address something. Some of you are thinking, but Jeremiah, my old 401k has great investment options. Maybe it does. But let me ask you this. When's the last time you actually look at those options? When's the last time you rebalance? When's the last time you checked if those fees have crept up? I had another situation recently. A gentleman had a 401k from 15 years ago. He thought he was paying 0.5% in fees. Turns out over the years, they've added admin fees, record keeping fees, and his actual cost was close to 1.7%. On $400,000, that's almost $7,000 a year in fees. For what? For them to send him a quarterly statement he never reads? This is what frustrates me about our industry. Everyone's focused on accumulation. Grow, grow, grow. But nobody's teaching you how to actually turn that growth into retirement income. You're a current advisor. Even if you have one, they're probably still preaching the same strategy they've been using since you were 35. Stay the course, ride it out, it'll come back. Sure, if you've got 20 years, but what if you're like Mike and he's 57? What if you're 62? What if you've already retired? You can't eat statements. You can't pay bills with unrealized gains. This is why consolidation isn't just about convenience, it's about control. When we brought Mike's 401ks together, we didn't just reduce his fees. We created a coordinated strategy where each dollar has a purpose. And here's something else, taxes. Oh boy, taxes. Mike didn't realize that by having 4 different accounts, he was setting himself up for a tax nightmare in retirement. Each account would hit required minimum distributions at different times with different amounts. Try explaining that to your CPA. But when we consolidate strategically, we can implement Roth conversion ladders, we can manage your tax brackets, we can potentially save you tens of thousands in taxes over your retirement. The big beautiful tax bill expires in 8 years. Right now, we have historically low tax rates. This is the opportunity to take control of your tax situation while you still can. I'm not saying consolidation is right for everyone. If you've got a 401k with exceptional benefits, unique investment options, or special provisions, maybe it makes sense to keep it. But you need to know, you need to evaluate, you need a plan. Mike's situation isn't unique. I probably talk to 3 people a week with the same scattered 401k problem. Smart, successful people who just never took the time to coordinate their retirement savings. So here's my challenge to you. Take 10 minutes this weekend. List out every retirement account you have, the company, the approximate balance, and when you last looked at the fee disclosure. If you can't remember the password to even log in, that's the first red flag. If you're not sure what you're invested in, that's a red flag. If you're within 10 years of retirement and you're still treating these accounts like they're accumulation mode, that's a bright red flag. You've worked too hard and saved too much to let fees and lack of coordination erode your retirement dreams. Mike's getting ready to retire with confidence now, not because we found some magic investment or secret strategy, but because we took what he already had and we made it work together instead of against itself. That's the difference between thinking like a day trader and thinking like a pension manager. That's the safe bucket blueprint. And that's how you retire with a paycheck, not a prayer. If you want to see exactly how this consolidation strategy works, I've got a free guide below, no fluff, just the exact process we use to help people like Mike save thousands in fees and create coordinated retirement income. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how much you've saved. It's about how much you get to keep and spend in retirement. Think about that. With that, I'll see you in the next video.